Most realtors and many clients believe that the market operates in a flat way, and that's as absurd as thinking the world is flat. This kind of analysis doesn't exist when you talk about numbers, markets, or economic movements. Each type of product, let's say single-family homes and condos, and each price range, let's say condos under $300,000, under $500,000, or over $1 million, are handled differently in terms of their numbers and statistics. First of all, they don't have the same sales capacity, they don't have the same market volume, and they don't have the same characteristics in terms of their audience. The people who buy properties over $1 million don't think the same way as those who buy at $300,000, not even close. There's a different way to approach each group, and each one will have an economic situation that makes a huge difference when it comes to making decisions. We, as real estate agents who handle all those price ranges and, in addition, have the great privilege and advantage of being deeply knowledgeable about these numbers, constantly analyzing the data that comes out, whether from the Realtor Association or from various organizations that keep us informed, can provide you with the key factors that will be fundamental when negotiating a deal or when putting a property on the market. Today, we're going to show you how each of them works. We're going to discuss this topic because what we want is for you to understand, in broad terms, how a real estate agent can make a difference when they have a truly business-focused mindset. This will help ensure, first, that you don't lose money, and second, that you can actually make a lot. As always, I'm Gabriel Peruso, and I'm joined by Jeet Semolina, my friend, business partner, and also the Chief Operations Officer at Invi Miami Real Estate, who is always out in the field with us and our realtors, keeping an eye on what's happening. Jenny, once again, we're here in front of the audience to go over this topic. What do you think is the main factor people should know about when it comes to this?
Look, the number one main factor is to debunk the idea that the real estate market is the same everywhere and that the headlines you see on social media apply 100% to you if you're interested in buying or selling. The main factor is knowing the niche, where exactly you want to buy or where you want to sell. And in addition to the market, it's also about the product. We always talk about the product as the property itself, the real estate. Do you want to buy an apartment, a house? Are you an investor, or are you going to live in the property? Depending on each of those factors, that's how you determine your buying or selling strategy, and additionally, the price range you want to get into. Because the price range has a huge impact on the inventory, and that's where, as specialists like us, we can identify the inventory and advise on how aggressive we can be when selling or buying. So, the main thing is information, having the right information to be able to make the right decisions. And we've experienced it, Gabby, lived it past months. All year, people talk about the real estate market complicated, crash, collapse, explode, none happen. In some areas, prices dropped 3, 4, 5, sale, not listing. Prices down reasonably, no crashes or explosions. People need to know.
Okay, Jenny, let's talk a bit based on the numbers. We have a chart on the screen that shows us, for example, how single-family homes are doing in terms of inventory levels within different price ranges. How can we interpret this in terms of Miami-Dade? Let's say it's the largest county with the highest number of homes.
Clients looking for a property at $380,000. 5-family homes in Miami-Dade County are scarce, very few available. Looking at the numbers, we have 4 months of inventory. 4 months of inventory means it's a seller's market. What does that mean? Every time I find one of those units, Obviously, you have to look at its physical structure, its condition, and if it's in fair to good condition, you can't ask for a price discount. So with this property, as a buyer, you can't ask for 10% off. You can't ask for 5% off. If you want the property, you have to go with the list price. You need to have inspections to make sure you're buying a property that's in good condition. But this is what's happening now. Single-family homes under $299,000 are basically extinct in Miami-Dade. The most affordable single-family home we've negotiated this year was $310,000, and we negotiated it really well. It came in $30,000 below the appraisal. And there we were lucky enough to get into a property where the seller needed to sell urgently, and we qualified pretty well. But what I mean is, that's how the numbers work. Now, let's say we have a client. Not right now, but if a client comes in wanting to buy a property over $1 million, there's 10 months of inventory there. We can ask for a discount on the price. We can ask for assistance. We can ask for a lot of things depending on where you are.
Of course, Jenny, but there's something there that, right away, feels off to me. If we look at the last line, it says all 6.4, so it tells us that there's a balanced market. And it turns out that we're simply adding and dividing all the factors, where the one over $1 million is tripling the one from 250,000 to 299,000. So it changes the whole statistic. When we see a statistic of 6.4, we think we're in balance, but that's not actually how it works.
Right? And that number is generous. 6.4 is generous. If you look at Miami headlines, they say in Miami 9.4 months of inventory. The reason they're mixing inventory with condo inventory, 14 months of inventory. They mix single family and condos together and say the Miami market has 9.2 months of inventory. And what happens to you as a buyer? You read on 20 different social media accounts that the inventory in Miami is like this, and you go in as a buyer looking for a $400,000 house and you never end up buying. You're not going to buy.
There's another number there that really stands out to me. Jenny, when you look at a condo and you see 14 months of inventory overall, and then you see they're all above 12 months, 17 months, 18 months, but then when you look at a condo that has reserves, it turns out there's only 2 months of inventory, or even just 1 month, because they sell very quickly since you can buy with just 5% down, and they're almost extinct, just like single-family homes under $300,000. Condos with reserves are also very rare. And additionally, when you look, for example, at the luxury sector over $1 million, or let's say over $600,000 and up, the new ones are selling much faster compared to those built before 2015 or before 2010. That is, the ones that are 30 or 40 years old and located in beach areas sell much more slowly compared to newer condos. So even within the same tier, within the same price range, we also have to start looking at how they perform with reserves. Without reserves, older, newer. In other words, the base of that pyramid keeps expanding, and in the end, at the base of the pyramid, there are so many different scenarios that things just don't work the same way. You can't go around thinking that you're going to buy everything as if you were at the market and all the oranges taste the same. We're in a supermarket where we have oranges, apples, pears, kiwis, bananas, we have all this variety, but we classify them all as fruit. So in the end, we give a statistic, like you said, fruit prices went up 9%, fruit has 9 months of inventory. But it turns out that when you go to get bananas, you find only 2, and when you go to get apples, you find 3 boxes full. It's not the same to fight over 2 bananas as it is to fight over 5 boxes full of apples. So you need to have someone by your side who knows what they're doing, who has the right tools, and who can get it done. Here, the final advice will always be, scan the QR code, click on the link below the video, and you can check out our channel Invest in Miami Real Estate No, which is about living in Miami. We also have a channel called See Me Invest in Miami Real Estate where we only do analyses every day. We analyze properties and review how you can buy them if you're a first-time buyer, how you can buy if you're an investor, what the return on that unit is, and if you go to that channel, you'll find everything you need, no problem. Here, we're going to leave you a link so you can access the channel, check it out, or just search for it. Invest in Miami Real Estate, and you'll find it. Jenny, in general, if we look at this additionally, how do we see it at the Florida level? What we're looking at are Miami statistics. How can we include Tampa, Orlando, or Naples in this equation?
Look, each market has its own statistics. Obviously, Tampa, Naples, Cape Coral, these are markets where inventory is much higher compared to property purchases. In other words, the months of inventory are greater, and if you want to get in there, you might need to be much more aggressive. It also depends on the properties with water access, properties with certain features. With a pool, they don't perform the same as others that are just on a street, well located and nice, but not really that attractive. I've always said it, and I stand by it in this market. What is selling and renting best are the units that are fixed up and appealing to buyers. And I want to make a note regarding condos, since you were mentioning them for today. These days, the condo market is I see it like quicksand. Honestly, it's a delicate situation because most condos have financial problems, few have reserves, and many have special assessments. Honestly, if you say today, I want to buy a condo, okay, number one, you need representation. You need someone on your side to help you get all the proper documents to be able to buy the condo. Number two, and I was actually doing this analysis for a client, I told them, look, these days the most important thing about condos, of course, you have to look at the reserve conditions, the state of the structure, and the certifications, but you really need to pay special attention to the building's management. You have to make sure that the management is the right kind of management so that your investment and your monthly payments are well handled, that the money goes where it needs to go, so you can be sure there won't be problems in the future. Because time goes by and buildings that are 25 years old, or let's say buildings that are 20 years old or newer, might not have issues today. But those that are 15 years old, in 7 years they'll be 22, and you'll have to go through a certification. The only way you, as a buyer, can be sure that the certification will go smoothly and that the money will be well invested is if the person in charge of management is the right one. There are a lot of factors you need to consider, and that's why you need to have representation. I've come across some people who just call real estate agents directly, even we've been contacted directly, and that's great, that's perfect. But my advice is always to have representation. When on the seller's side, clients call us for advice. We always recommend you come with a realtor so they can be on your side and have a fiduciary duty to you. They have the responsibility to give you information, look for information, and tell you what's happening with the transaction.
There's an important point in all of this, Jenny, which is that information doesn't reach everyone. Information comes through unofficial channels, like social media, and as realtors, we're surrounded by the sense that everything is an unreal world, just like the world of beauty is unreal, and on social media, it's as if ugly doesn't exist anymore. Everyone is extremely beautiful, with incredibly smooth skin, gorgeous hair, and everyone has whatever color eyes they want. If they want brown eyes, they have brown, green, yellow, whatever. And with artificial intelligence, all of this is going to get even bigger. The same thing happens in the world of business and with realtors. We only see those realities where most realtors are saying, this is the best investment. It's a wonderful investment. This is extraordinary. When I'm doing analyses for the Invi Miami Real Estate channel, I come across descriptions that are like poetry, right? When you read the property descriptions, it's like a gem in the sky, a unique, undiscovered investment property. This has never been seen before in the city of Miami, and now it's right in front of your eyes. I mean, when I see that, I say, those are poems. But when I actually run the numbers, I see you're going to lose $25,000 if you buy this property. I get that it's really a one-of-a-kind gem in the world, like, sure, it's a unique gem. But it's a gem made of sand, meaning no one is going to pay you a cent. You're going to lose money, and what you're doing is just stupid. But that idyllic world is really complicated, Jenny. For us to explain it to a client is tough because our reach is limited with this kind of podcast. Even people act like that WhatsApp monkey. They cover their ears and eyes and say, I'm going to buy it anyway. We've had people come to us with something and we tell them, look, that's not going to work for you. And they say, but how can it not work? But I've already gotten into it. I've already paid the down payment. I've already negotiated it. But. Well, you have to do all that before getting into the business. And in the end, the difference will be in the numbers overall. How can you fight against that on social media? Because I've always told you, Jenny, I don't know, but we feel like our clients always come to us really confused. How does the realtor team at Invi Miami Real Estate manage to clear up people's confusion? Because they always come in with this cloud of, I don't see what's so bad, or I don't see why not, or they come in with the idea that a crash is coming. I saw it on YouTube and it's happening. They're always living in parallel realities because social media sells us parallel realities. What is the main obstacle? What is the main message you, as the chief operations officer of the company, and the realtors under your supervision need to have in order to address this issue?
Look, it's a bit complicated because it's about beliefs and ideals. It's wanting everyone who's buying wants the real estate market where they want to buy to crash so they can buy at a good price. So it's a relationship between what you want to happen and what you're reading on social media. And when they come to us and you tell them, look, part of it is true, but most of it isn't. At first, it's a shock because it's also mixed up with the idea that, well, they're realtors, they want to sell, they want to earn an easy commission, and for them it's better if you offer more. So it's a shock. You show them with statistics, with numbers, with evidence, and then actually being out in the market, going out with the client. The people who have contacted us have seen our track record. They know what our work is like, and they go out with us into the market and realize that what we say here is real. It's real. I mean, when I talk about it, I say, look, this is what's happening and this is what you want to buy. Or here we can make a really big offer. Let's ask for help. We can get good assistance. And in the end, the way we do it is, number one, with evidence, statistics, information, and then simply by going out into the market, looking for properties and making offers.
Yes, I think it's been one of the biggest complications we've had, especially when making offers, and many times, no, they don't accept them, and in the end the client says, you are right. Because when you tell them, make an offer for 450, and the client says, no, for 10 because this is going down, for sure. I recommend 450 for 10 tops, and they stick to 410 and lose the unit, or they don't even read the offer because they say, no, sorry, we're not even going to process it because it doesn't make sense. I mean, for 10, we won't accept it. We've already rejected 420, and now you're telling me 410? That's a lowball offer that's almost insulting. You have to understand that when your realtor is a good realtor, they're giving you advice for your own good, not just for a commission. Don't think you're being clever by trying to buy something at a market value that the seller also knows, thinking that just because you have the money in hand, whether it's cash or you have really good financing, that's going to get you in. You always have to weigh the market, good advice, and your own negotiating instincts. A negotiator's instinct isn't about offering a low price, it's about offering good terms. Maybe you offer a lower price, but that offer must be justified. You can't offer less, you have to say, I'm offering less because this many units sold in the market, this one had a pool, this one didn't. You have to look at things like, do we have a roof? There has to be a strategy. The number can't be based on what you feel, it has to be backed by strategy. Jenny, as we wrap up this podcast, what's your final words be, and what invitation you extend?
My invitation comes without any intention to sell. Yes, we are salespeople, this is our job, but without wanting to sound like a commission-driven pitch, this is the right time to buy. In all my time in the market, I haven't seen a moment with as many good options available for people as there are today. Maybe some prices are negotiable, maybe others not so much, but it really is the time to buy because there's the inventory, there are people willing to negotiate with you and to offer you some flexibility. So that's my advice. Contact us. There's the QR code so you can make appointments with us, or below there's a direct link to our WhatsApp for any questions you might have.
That's it. Thank you so much to everyone who listens to us. Don't forget to like the video, it tells the platform that this is high quality content and that YouTube should share it so many more people can access it. Share it. If you know someone in your close circle who doesn't have this kind of material and needs it, send it to them. You're giving them high quality, transparent content so they can make much more informed decisions. Of course, subscribe to our channel where we have 4 episodes a week with the best real estate content in Spanish you'll find anywhere in the US. And additionally, our channel Invest in Miami Real Estate, where we have daily analyses of the property market in Miami, Orlando, and Florida's West Coast. Thank you very much once again. Where to Live in Miami podcast is a production of Invest in Miami Real Estate. Total transparency.